Senator Bridges, that was beautiful. I'm contemplating spreading those words across the journal, or across the pages, or whatever you say. The Senate will come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Senators Bridges, Buckner, Coleman, Cook, Coram, Danielson,
Excused.
Donovan, Fields,
Here.
Gardner, Janal, Gonzalez, Hanson, Henriksen, Heisey, Holbert, Huckes Lewis, Kirkmeyer, Kolker, Lee, Liston, Lundin, Moreno, Pedersen,
Excused.
Priola, Rankin,
He's here, but he didn't answer. Should I call him again? Rankin? Yeah, anytime they don't answer, no. It's Rankin. Okay.
Rankin, Rodriguez, Scott, Simpson, Smallwood, Sonnenberg, Story,
Here.
Winter, Woodward, Zenzinger, Pedersen.
Here.
Mr. President,
Here. The morning roll call is 34 present, 0 absent, 1 excused. We have a quorum. Will the good senator from Douglas County please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, guests, and staff, would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the journal, Senator Huckes Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Inspired by your comments yesterday. I've built it up way too much. Women's History Month 2022. What do the women in your life do for you? And with that, Mr. President, I move the reading of the journal of Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022 be dispensed with and the journal be approved by the Secretary.
That was beautiful. Very moving. You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and that motion is adopted. Senate Services.
correctly re-engrossed Senate Bills 83 and 95.
Committee reports.
March 2nd, 2022, the Committee on Health and Human Services has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointments and recommends that the appointments be placed on the consent calendar and confirm members of the Colorado Health Facilities Authority Board of Directors for a term expiring June 30th, 2024. Daniel Thurlow of Parker, Colorado, non-affiliated, occasioned by the passing of Dennis Jones, Centennial, Colorado, appointed effective July 1st, 2021 for a term expiring June 30th, 2025. Jessica Klotke of Louisville, Colorado, and unaffiliated, appointed. Ann Erickson of Centennial, Colorado, Democrat, appointed. March 2nd, 2022, the Committee on Health and Human Services has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointments and recommends that the appointments be placed on the consent calendar. Confirm members of the State Board of Health for a term expiring March 1st, 2023. Lisa Neal Graves of Parker, Colorado, resident of the 4th Congressional District and a Democrat, occasioned by the resignation of Kendall Alexander of Greeley, Colorado, appointed for terms expiring March 1st, 2025. Stacy Robin Green of Boulder, Colorado, resident of the 2nd Congressional District and an unaffiliated, to serve as a member at large, appointed. Stanton Vander Werf of El Paso, Colorado, resident of the 5th Congressional District and a Republican, to serve as a community commissioner, appointed. Patricia Hammond of Eagle, Colorado, resident of the 3rd Congressional District and Democrat, reappointed. Daniel Paschal of Denver, Colorado, resident of the 1st Congressional District and an unaffiliated, to serve as a member at large, reappointed. The Committee on Health and Human Services has under consideration, has had a hearing on the following appointments, recommends that the appointments be placed on the consent calendar. Confirmed members of the Colorado Traumatic Brain Injury Trust Fund Board, effective July 1st, 2021, for terms expiring on June 30th, 2024. Victoria Trego, J.D. of Denver, Colorado, reappointed. James E. Graham, Ph.D. of Fort Collins, Colorado, appointed. James Ray Long, Soldier of Denver, Colorado, appointed. March 2nd, 2022, the Committee on Health and Human Services has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointments, recommends that the appointments be placed on the consent calendar. Confirmed members of the Air Quality Control Commission, effective February 1st, 2022, for terms expiring January 31st, 2025. Robert Patrick Cummins of Durango, Colorado, to serve as a person with appropriate scientific experience and a Democrat, appointed. Elise Jones of Boulder, Colorado, to serve as a person with appropriate technical and private sector experience and a Democrat, reappointed. March 2nd, 2022, the Committee on Health and Human Services has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointments and recommends the appointments be placed on the consent calendar. Confirm members of the Air Quality Control Commission for terms expiring January 31st, 2023. Sergio Guerra of Lakewood, Colorado, person with appropriate technical and scientific experience and a Republican, occasioned by the resignation of Michael Ogletree of Denver, Colorado, appointed. John Slefke of Wellington, Colorado, person with appropriate agricultural experience and an unaffiliated, occasioned by the resignation of Charles Jones Grove of Craig, Colorado, appointed. March 2nd, 2022, the Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointments and recommends that the appointments be placed on the consent calendar. Confirm members of the Workers' Compensation Cost Containment Board, effective December 14, 2021, for terms expiring December 13, 2024. Also, Miles of Parker, Colorado, to serve as an employer with a good risk management experience with respect to the workers' compensation insurance. Appointed. Megan Strong of Thornton, Colorado, to serve as an employer with good risk management experience and respect to the workers' compensation insurance. Reappointed for a term expiring December 13, 2021. Marie Gonzalez of Commerce City, Colorado, representing executives with good risk management experience in the insurance industry, occasioned by the resignation of Karen Cook Wills, Colorado Springs, Colorado, appointed. March 2nd, 2022, Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology. After consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 130 be amended as follows, and as so amended be referred to the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. March 2nd, 2022, Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology. After consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following: House Bill 1099 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation, and with a recommendation that it be placed on the consent calendar. March 2nd, 2022, Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology. After consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following: House Bill 1073 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation.
General order, second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Zenzinger.
What am I doing? Are we starting?
Yeah.
Resolving ourselves into the Committee of the Whole? Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The motion is adopted, and the Senate will resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the consideration of the general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar, and Senator Zenzinger will take the chair.
Exactly. The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title of all the bills on general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar?
House Bill 1035, Representatives Young and Bradfield, Senators Janal and Rankin, concerning modernization of the Older Coloradans Act.
Majority Leader Fenberg. Oh, Moreno. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We do look alike. I move for the passage of the one bill on the general order's second reading of bills consent calendar, which includes House Bill 1035 and its associated Health and Human Services Committee report.
Is there any discussion on the committee reports? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the Health and Human Services Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. Is there any discussion on House Bill 1035? Seeing none, all of those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and House Bill 1035 is adopted. Majority Leader Moreno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee will rise and report.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your committee has met and had one bill under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report that it has had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendation thereon. House Bill 1035 is amended, passed on second reading, in order revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. House Bill 1035 is amended, passed on second reading, in order revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. General Order, second reading of bills. Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of general order, second reading of bills.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Senate will resolve itself into the committee of the whole for the consideration of the general order, second reading of bills, and Senator Zenzinger will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the Title II, House Bill 1041?
House Bill 1041, Representative Bazenaker and Larson, Senator Janal, concerning the restriction on making public personal information of protected persons at risk of threats.
Senator Janal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1041 and the Health and Human Services Committee report.
To the report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee report was related to a real estate matter. It becomes very difficult to prove a chain of title on property when an individual has their personal information shielded, and under limited circumstances, assessors, treasurers, and clerks need to assess these records while still protecting these folks from having their information shared when they want it private. I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of the Health and Human Services report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. Senator Janal to the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill on privacy protections for protected persons is already in effect for some groups. Law enforcement is one, and other government workers. But this one addresses two problems. This includes contractors and other government workers, where their personal information can result in safety concerns, not only for the people who are doing the job, but for their families. And it's often related to death threats, as well as just following them around, harassing them, and keeping them from doing their official duties. This is specifically a concern for code enforcement officials, municipal code enforcement officials, attorneys and family defense systems representing indigent parents in dependency and neglect proceedings, attorneys and advocates for the Office of Child Representatives who represent juveniles or their best interests, essential health care personnel, and the State Bureau of Animal Protection officials and animal control officers. Threats against workers and contractors cause safety, morale, and job retention problems. And this bill is an important bill to protect those folks, cover these workers and contractors. They may submit written requests to a local government official to remove their records with personal information from the internet if the records pose an imminent and serious threat for their safety. And I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1041. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and House Bill 1041 is adopted. Majority Leader Moreno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee will rise and report.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your committee has met, and we had one bill under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report it has had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendation thereon. House Bill 1041 is amended, passed on second reading, and ordered, revised, and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? Senators Woodward, Sonnenberg, with a vote of 32 ayes, 2 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. House Bill 1041, as amended, passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Consideration of governor's appointments. Consent calendar. Will the clerk please read all the appointments listed on the consent calendar?
Member of the Health Insurance Affordability Enterprise for a term expiring September 24, 2022, Samuel Todd Young of Grand Junction, Colorado, to serve as a representative of a business and purchases or otherwise provides health insurance for its employees occasioned by the resignation of Sean Satterfield of Evergreen, Colorado, appointed. Members of the Undergrad Drainage Prevention Safety Commission for a term expiring January 1st, 2024. Esther Williams of Arvada, Colorado, to serve as a representative of investor-owned utilities occasioned by the resignation of Eric Kirkpatrick of Castle Rock, Colorado, appointed effective January 2nd, 2022 for terms expiring January 1st, 2025. Rob Martindale of Grand Junction, Colorado, to serve as a representative of transportation, appointed. Julie McCaleb of Anton, Colorado, to serve as a member actively engaged in farming or ranching, appointed. Terry King of Pueblo, Colorado, to serve as a representative of telecommunications and broadband companies, appointed. Dana Bajold of Arvada, Colorado, to serve as a representative of engineers, reappointed. Raymond Keith Swerdfager of Pueblo West to serve as a representative of excavation, reappointed. Members of the Board of Real Estate Appraisers for terms expiring July 1st, 2024. Chris Andrew Brownlee of Grand Junction, Colorado, to serve as a representative of real estate appraiser with experience in appraisal management, reappointed. Patricia Suzanne Campbell, SRA of Grand Junction, Colorado, to serve as a representative of real estate appraisers with experience in eminent domain matters, reappointed. Harriet Irene Sanders of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a public member, reappointed. Christopher Chippendale of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, to serve as an officer or employee of a commercial bank experienced in real estate lending, appointed. Executive Director of the Department of Personnel and Administration for a term expiring at the pleasure of the Governor, Anthony Garodini of Aurora, Colorado, appointed.
Majority Leader Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the confirmation of all the appointments listed on the consent calendar, which includes members of the Health Insurance Affordability Enterprise, members of the Underground Damage Prevention Safety Commission, members of the Board of Real Estate Appraisers, and the Executive Director of the Department of Personnel and Administration.
Is there any discussion? The motion is the confirmation of all the appointments on the consent calendar. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, all the appointments are confirmed. Committee reports.
March 2nd, 2022, Committee on Finance, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 51 be amended as follows, and as so amended be referred to the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. March 2nd, 2022, the Committee on Finance has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointments and recommends that the appointments be placed on the consent calendar. Confirm members of the Colorado Limited Gaming Control Commission for terms expiring July 1st, 2025. Sheriff Kevin Armstrong of Blackhawk, Colorado, to serve as a member from the 2nd Congressional District, a representative of law enforcement, and as a Republican appointed. Patricia Landaveri of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a member of the 1st Congressional District, a representative of business management, and an unaffiliated appointed.
Introduction of bills.
House Bill 1032, Representatives Bockenfield and Doherty, Senators Kirkmeyer and Bridges, concerning jury duty postponement for a student enrolled in an institution of higher education outside the state of Colorado.
Education.
House Bill 1038 by Representatives Doherty and Van Baber, Senators Moreno and Garter, concerning client-directed legal representation for youth in court proceedings for youth.
Judiciary.
House Bill 1049, Representatives Bacon and Rick, Senators Pedersen and Bridges, concerning prohibiting a post-secondary institution from making payments of an outstanding balance on a student's account, a condition of issuing the student's documents.
Education.
House Bill 1086, Representatives Sullivan and Bacon, Senators Fields and Huckas Lewis, concerning prohibiting openly carrying firearms at a voting location.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
House Bill 1153, Representatives Tipper and Asgar, Senators Bridges and Moreno, concerning affirming parentage by adoption for a person who did not give birth when the child is conceived as a result of assisted reproduction.
Health and Human Services.
House Bill 1165 by Representatives Snyder and Soper, Senators Lee and Gardner, concerning implementation of the Committee on Legal Services recommendation in connection with legislative review of state agencies' rules.
Legal Services. Signing of bills.
March 3rd, 2022, the President has signed Senate Bill 15.
You're welcome. Announcements. Senator Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, State Veteran Military Affairs Committee will be meeting, let's say at 10 o'clock in the Old Supreme Court chambers to hear Senate Bill 118. That's all for today.
Senator Gonzalez.
Gracias, Presidente. The members of the Senate Judiciary Committee will be meeting at 1:30 and 3:52. We will hear the appointees for the Colorado Commission on Judicial Discipline, along with 67, 103, 122, and 89 in that order. Thank you.
Senator Janal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Local Government will be meeting upon adjournment at 10 o'clock. We will be hearing one bill, Senate Bill 1, in room 352.
Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request to be excused on Monday, March 7th for personal business. I spoke with the minority leader and the majority leader who evinced a slight bit more disappointment than his predecessor did at such announcements. Thank you, Mr. President. I do ask to be excused on Monday.
Thank you, Senator Gardner. You will be marked excused on Monday, and we will be having a pizza party to celebrate. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate stand in recess until 10 a.m. today. Colleagues, you do not need to return. We're just waiting on a bill to read across the desk.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Senate will recess until 10 a.m. today.